This is Young Shot here, back here today to give you guys another video, and this time we're going to do it on the number 2 pick for our Rookie Watch series. We're going to do it on Ja Morant. Now, Ja Morant is coming from Murray State and literally got drafted from the Grizzlies to the Grizzlies, and I gotta say he is a athletic specimen. Now, he's not going to be a Russell Westbrook type of specimen or type of athlete in his general sense, but he is a person that is very shifty, bouncy, and can pretty much get to the lane with his array of dribble moves. And also he has a really great passing skill set, which I believe is elite NBA level already at this point. So we're going to take a dive in to see how Ja Morant is going to fit in with the Memphis Grizzlies, and especially how he's going to fit in with his new head coach Taylor Jenkins, and how Taylor Jenkins is possibly going to implement him in his offense. Again, since this is a new head coach and a new system, it's going to be really hard for me to pretty much get footage of how they can possibly use him, but I'll try my best anyways to basically implement how the former assistant head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks is going to use him in his system and with the rest of the players that's on the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, if you guys isn't new to my channel, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you really like the last video that I did on Zion, you're going to really like this one. And I really hope that you stay around and also watch this video to its entirety. Now, let's get on to the video. Before we can even diagnose how Ja Morant is going to play with this new Memphis Grizzlies squad, especially just coming off of a rebuild, getting rid of Mike Conley, getting rid of Marc Gasol, we have to really look in depth at how the coaching is going to be set up. So let's take a more deep dive with Taylor Jenkins. Now, Taylor Jenkins is the assistant head coach, or was the assistant head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks underneath Mike Budenholzer's system with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is pretty much spread 5 out, and where Giannis basically goes downhill, create mismatches, and basically either drive and kick for wide open threes, or decides to take him out by himself and basically be a playmaker or score using his size, athleticism, and generational length. Now, they also had another guy who basically can bring it in, which is Eric Bledsoe, who could also do the same thing, but again, a little bit shifty, a little bit more bouncy. He still had the athleticism, but a little bit more smaller. And I feel like Ja Morant can definitely fit that mold with ease and really easily just make passes from a standpoint of driving kick. Now, that's one of his game. I feel as though Ja Morant is going to be really good at, is basically finding the wide open guy. He has probably the best knowledge, best IQ from what I've seen, and as far as the offense play, as far as a point guard, a traditional point guard in this draft. And I feel like the Grizzlies nailed this pick on the tee. Now, we're going to go in discussion how Ja Morant is going to fit in, especially in this 5-out offense, and especially with the roster that he has now under his disposal. The purpose of the 5-out offense, especially for the Bucks, because I'm going to talk about the Bucks and Taylor Jenkins pretty much being the assistant coach for the Bucks during his time. Purpose of the 5-out is to create decisions basically for the ball handler to basically go through driving lanes. It pulls all 5 defenders out, clears the paint for himself, and also allows all 5 offensive players to nearly have the same opportunity to score the basket, whether from the 3-point shot or just basically hoisting up shots from a good shot attempt from a passer such as Giannis. It works for the Bucks, and it worked out just beautifully. You can see in this pick right here that the spacing, especially with Chris Middleton with the ball, regardless of not, they use their natural abilities to drive and kick, or just basically try to put pressure on the defense and try to drive in the score. You can see the 5-out right here with Lopez, Middleton, and the rest of the squad. Literally nobody's in the paint to guard anybody. You have to respect every shooter that's out there, and you have to be forced to play one-on-one basketball isolation for the guy that has the ball in his hand, or else if you decide to help, it's a wide open shooter, and if you decide not to help, the guy with the natural ability to go one-on-one and actually score can score and put a lot of points in the process. So it's a really tough offense. I mean, it's a really tough defensively to guard that, and especially how Memphis roster is built up. They have a lot of 3-point shooters surrounding the arc and surrounding just pretty much 3-point line just to shoot. Taylor Jenkins emphasized basically shooting a lot, so he is going to put in that system for Ja Morant to basically create. And Ja Morant is actually pretty good at just playmaking abilities. As I said, he is only person to average 20 points and 10 assists in college basketball history, and WNCAA history. I feel like Ja Morant is capable of doing this, and he's going to show why he also can be a very elite playmaking passer, especially in this NBA. Because I mean, man, this dude literally, even though he's the most scrawniest, or probably 6'3", 179 pounds, he's not the biggest, toughest, bulkiest point guard. He's not the most athletic built, but dude can play basketball, and he has a high IQ skill that can basically rival any point guard in the NBA right now. And I feel as though that once he learns that position very well, once he comes in and basically become a already NBA talent, dude is going to basically be a beast, especially for the Memphis Grizzlies, and especially how Taylor Jenkins want to run his offense. So we're going to see right here why Ja Morant is going to be a really good player in the NBA, especially for his rookie season. For Murray State, Ja Morant has been nothing but spectacular for them, and just showing right here in just many plays right now, you can see his court vision, you can see everything that he does on the court pretty much. Especially, I'm going to highlight this game against Marquette because this is probably one of his best games, especially dropping triple-double. Only person to do it since Draymond Green for Michigan. But regardless of not, Ja Morant, it's been just delightful just to see, and just in college basketball, and you can see reasons why he's possibly is going to be a really good fit in Memphis, especially for Taylor Jenkins. Now let's see all the possibilities that we can have for Ja Morant. Ja Morant, being the point guard, gets the first opportunity, not going to be slow placed into the bench whatsoever, has a skill set already to basically set up people and make passes, especially for a rebuilding team. He works out for Jaren Jackson, who is also a really good defensive player, but also a really good offensive skill set where he can pretty much create off the dribble for himself. He's not the most efficient player off of it, but can still be set up and still be a really good off-ball player, or just in general just have the ball for himself and score for himself as well, and is very athletic, so it helps out in his favor. Jonas Valanciunas has been a very improved three-point shooter. He can spread out the floor, same for Jaren Jackson as well. You have a lot of shooters on disposal as well for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I feel as though that this team can basically work with the fact that they have a playmaker now in Ja Morant. He can find people on the dime. You can see in these clips right here that he finds people on a dime real quickly. It notifies and spots defenses basically having troubles following him, or basically having misdirection on screens. He's basically a very good vision person, can keep his dribble, especially through double teams, and knows how to basically pinpoint passes, especially on the time that you can drop passes off as well, because his timing is impeccable in terms of these passes. I mean, look at this one right here, straight off the little cross pick inside this inside the paint, especially against Marquette. You can see by the skill set, this man knows what he's doing, can keep his dribble, don't even have to worry about basically him dribbling. Now the only bad part about Ja Morant really is just basically he doesn't like contact. You can tell from the clips he doesn't really like contact. He can basically drive in, he can basically go through defenders with his speed, his burst, and pretty much evade defenders and basically go straight up for a drive. But he isn't a person that can basically how can I say, like, bully his way straight into a defense. He is more of a person that basically sets up his dribbles. He knows what he's going to do. He thinks thoroughly, but also has very good cat-like reflexes and can dump off passes to teammates really easily and find teammates wide open for shots. So I really like this prospect of Ja Morant, and I really do see how Taylor Jenkins is going to use him, especially. Now, quick note of how the Bucks offense was running, especially with the 5-out. When you look at Giannis and Bledsoe, Giannis was #1, especially for the last season. This was a stat line recorded for February 5th, so pretty much in the middle of the season. But regardless of not, still accurate, because I mean, Giannis #1 basically in terms of assists on drives and kick out, since he's the primary ball handler. But another person that I'm really interested in looking at as well is Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe was a guy that pretty much had to do some of the work as well as far as primary ball handling, and I mean, man, he did his work too. He was 10th in the league, and especially during that time, in assists through drives, and I really think that's going to help out It's about space and pace, and I feel like Ja Morant, with his athleticism to get down the court, he's very fast and basically get there. He's not stunning speed like a De'Aaron Fox, and he's not a bully like Russell Westbrook, but he's still a tremendous athlete, and you have to give him respect. He can drive down the court and basically use evasive moves, can pretty much finish. Not the best finisher, obviously. He's going to draw fouls, but he's not going to be a turns of person that can draw a lot of fouls due to his strength or whatever. But I feel as though he is going to be a tremendous talent in the league in terms of just basically creating passing lanes for his teammates, basically with his speed, and also just basically developing his jump shot, and also just basically being a good playmaker, creating shots for himself. And I feel like he can do that in a high level sooner or later. But as far as that, pace and space is what Taylor Jenkins is going to be preaching, and I feel like he built a solid team around Ja Morant to basically do those things and make sure he maximizes his potential for sure. So that's one thing I feel like Ja Morant is going to be very highly proficient on, is basically creating for his teammates, but not only that, getting his as well, especially in the ISOs. Maybe he bulks up a little bit, we don't know, but I feel as though Ja Morant could potentially be a really good point guard, especially with the Grizzlies for years to come. Is it Rookie of the Year candidate type of good? No, I don't think it's that good, but I think he will be the most efficient. And also too, you gotta also consider his turnovers. Now, he had the highest turnover rate for a point guard, not in college basketball history, but just in terms of the season that he had compared to the other point guards like Kobe White and Darius Garland. He had a very high assist to turnover ratio, but again, he is expected to do a lot for his team, so I don't see a reason why like his turnovers is probably going to be higher than most. But again, I don't see much reason why like his turnover is going to be extremely high. I just see as though he's going to be an inexperienced point guard with elite and still have a high IQ talent level, but he's going to be distraught because of his size and pretty much his weight. So he needs to bulk up. Once he bulks up, I think he is going to be a phenomenal talent for the Memphis Grizzlies, and I feel like Taylor Jenkins is going to use him just right. So that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video on Ja Morant. We're going to have the third pick coming up next with RJ Barrett, and also I'm going to be putting out my gaming channel very soon. As soon as 2K drops, I'm going to be doing a lot of my player, a lot of Madden stuff as well, and also just a lot of franchise stuff, so you guys can look at it. It also can help me, make some decisions. So that's going to be that. If you guys have not clicked and like and subscribe yet, I would love you to do that. I just recently got back on YouTube, especially with the first video. First video did okay. Let's keep it going. Leave a like if you really like this video on Ja Morant. The second thing I want you to also take in mind is also our podcast, the Knicks XNO podcast, which is going to be coming back very soon. I'm just waiting for more content to come out. This season didn't start yet, so I'm just waiting for that. But as soon as it does, I'll let you guys know. But until then, you can still follow it. It's going to be here on the channel, also on anchor.com. You can just find it straight on Anchor, Knicks XNO's podcast. Really easy to basically find out, as I do breakdowns daily on every Knicks game that comes by. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is Young Shot. I'm out. Peace.